Shalom, Israel. I want to start off by saying all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And this is another episode of History is Your Story. I'm back in the Book of 500 Nations by Alvin M. Josephy Jr. And I'm just going to make this a real short video, a quick hitter, pulling out expert of this scripture, of this book, and match it up with the scriptures, you know. So I'm going to get right into it. This is on page 108. And I'm going to read right here in a description of this picture. Because as you can see here in the picture, people are sick, man. See how their bodies, they got hit with the smallpox. Okay? See, they're dying, man. So in the description it says this: Cortez's conquistadors brought European diseases that proved far more deadly to the Indian population than the Spanish weapons. Here, Florentine Codex shows Aztecs dying from the dreaded smallpox, against which they had no defense, right? Because this was a new type of disease. Prior to these devils, which is you so-called white people, better known as you Caucasians, the cavemen, the Hebrew Edomites, prior to you guys coming over here, the Israelites, which are the North American Indians, the Taínos, the Aztecs, all the indigenous tribes that lived here in America before you got here. We had all the herbs that the scriptures say the Most High created medicines out of the earth. We had everything here. Okay, and it goes on and it says, fighting continued. Both sides took captives. On both sides there were deaths. Nevertheless, great became the suffering of the common folk. The common folk being the Israelites. You can see it right here. Okay? It says there was hunger, famine. Many died of famine. There was no more good, pure water to drink. Many died of it. The people ate nothing. The people ate anything. Lizards, barn swallows, corn leaves, salt grass. Never had such suffering been seen. The enemy pressed about us like a wall. They herded us. The brave warriors were still helplessly resisting, man. And all of this was already predicted in the scriptures, man. When you go into the book of Deuteronomy 28, which that's what I'm going to get. Okay. The Lord explained that this was going to happen to us if we didn't keep his commandments. Okay, we were going to be in these situations right here, man. We were going to get jacked the hell up. Okay? I'm going to get the scripture. Salakia. The camera messes up a little bit. I'm doing this with one hand. You know, the other brother, he upstairs. I ain't want to bother the priest. Brother was studying, so I didn't want to interrupt him and ask him to hold the cam. But this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. And I'm going to go to the 15th verse real quick. For brothers and sisters that's just waking up, you're not familiar with this scripture. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Okay, and this was a curse that happened to us, man. This was a curse that happened to the 10 tribes here in America at the arrival of Esau. At the arrival of the red one, Hellboy. Okay? So, from 16 all the way through, it explains that curses are going to fall upon us. Now, I'm going to jump over to verse 61. And it says also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And that's what happened to our people, man. Okay, the diseases brought us down few in numbers. Even though Jake is great and we multiply, we don't die. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, at the conception of this country known as America, okay, our population was high. We were in the millions, high millions, man. And this devil decimated us, decimated the Taino, the Boricuans, the Arawak, okay, the Aztecs, the Incas. Because the Lord said he was going to do it, man. He wrote it right here in the book of Deuteronomy. And it says God will, and look, in the beginning it says God will bless Israel, man. But what happened? Because we didn't keep the laws, statutes, and the commandments, he cursed us, man. 62, and ye shall be left few in numbers, whereas ye were as the stars of the heaven for a multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord, man. Okay? We were like the stars of the heaven. If you look out into the sky in the middle of the night, you can't, it's impossible to count the stars. That's how we were, and we were the last nation that was born. Okay? And we multiplied greatly because the Lord, what? He chose us from the beginning, from the foundation, man. He chose us, but because we wanted to go up against our power, okay, the Lord came up, the Lord used the basis of men to come up against us. Okay? The Lord used the basis of men to destroy us and bring us fewer numbers, like I said in the beginning, in the beginning conception of this country. Okay, but now we're in the last days where the Most High, he has blessed us again to be fruitful, but only because 1/3 and the elect are going to be delivered out of this thermonuclear destruction that's coming here to America. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up for this episode. And I'll see y'all in the next episode. Lord willing, I'm going to bring out more information out of this book, you know, more helpful information. And, you know, a lot of this information in this book backs up the 10 tribes, the indigenous tribes are the 10 tribes of the scriptures. Okay? So with that, I want to say all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, and Shalom.